In corporate news, Italian oil major Eni has agreed to sell its Nigerian onshore oil and gas subsidiary to local oil company Oando, with two companies said in a statement posted today. The sale of the Nigerian Ajib Oil Company Limited, which is subject to regulatory approvals, will nearly double Oando's reserves to 996 million barrels of oil equivalent. Oando added that the purchase will enable it to significantly increase production and enhance efficiency and unlock opportunities indigenous actors to play in the future of the Nigerian upstream sector. Our Rise Business Analyst Chika Mbonu joins me now here in Lagos for that, and we're going to hit the ground. Good morning. Straight with the oil industry.
Yes.
That's the underbelly of the economy. So let's start from where the money really is.
Yeah,
Show me the money in this deal.
I wanted to start with the Oando deal. I mean, you know the background. Some of the background is that the energy transition away from fossil fuels towards renewable energy has made reduce investment in the oil and gas industry, fossil fuel sector. And therefore, especially the Nigerian onshore oil and gas industry has ceased to be the beautiful bride. Now, if you look at the AGMs, and I'm not generally mentioning most of the international oil companies, a lot of them have been told to divest from fossil fuel investments. Dump on that the Nigerian problems. Nigerian problems are basically, the community issues, vandalization of pipes, weak and infrastructure, and
oil spillage,
yes. Regulatory environment. And so it's not surprising, therefore, that a lot of IOCs, international oil companies, have been divesting from the onshore, moving more to the offshore. And that is the rider to this Oando investment. And just like has happened in the last 10 years, yes. Nigerian individuals who have been the players in the industry, E&P contractors, local corporates, have raised money internationally and locally to acquire these oil and gas assets from the divesting international oil companies. And so this is the Oando deal.
Oando, some years ago, did ConocoPhillips. I'm sure you remember that.
They acquired that also.
Yes, ConocoPhillips divestment back then, a few years ago. So this is the second one they're doing within a 10-year period or so.
So, I mean, they have a track record on that. I'm sure when they did the ConocoPhillips, maybe they were rookies. I'm sure on this one now, they will
cross the T's and dot
the I's and know where the bumps are and make sure they ride through smoothly.
ConocoPhillips was a major one for them.
Yes.
And again, they were able to wade that through and added a lot more to their assets.
But I hasten to add quickly that it has been a very fantastic experience for a lot of the Nigerian indigenous IOCs.
They pick it up.
Who have taken up some of these
foreign
assets. And because of the things we thought about. From the delivery from the drilling point for a lot of them to the export point, a lot of them lose up to 80% of the oil. And so you find a lot of the companies not being able to even pay back the loans they've taken
from the banks.
From the banks.
We all knew what happened.
Yeah, so security is a major issue for them. So for Oando, I know they have so much faith in Nigeria, and I'm just hoping the government will support them in this respect. Remember, even the press release from Ajib and the press release from Oando said something. It requires regulatory approvals.
So it goes all the way up to Mr. President.
Yeah, so again, what happened in Seplat, what happened in Seplat.
With the ExxonMobil, which is still hanging from under President Buhari's...
We know that the NNPC, I think, based on the Act, has a preemptive right.
Yes, the first
right of first refusal.
First refusal.
Yeah, to do this. But we know they can't have all on their plate. The more the merrier.
Yeah, they need to allow other indigenous players
to come up. See, before Oando can start initiating discussion with Ajib, they would have gone to discuss with their bankers, get letters of intent and commitments to make sure the funding is in place.
And this is going to be the first one under the PIA.
Yeah, PIBS. Make sure that the funding is in place. So we just hope that I think any PLC, I think that's the one.
Yes,
will give the option on a timely basis. On a timely basis.
Because money does not sleep.
It doesn't sleep. Yeah. On a timely basis, give this approvals so that this transition can go on,
can move on,
and production, and so the assets don't lie waste. Remember, we are all working towards what. Beefing up our oil production.
Yes, and we've not been doing badly recently. A new report came in this morning that Nigeria and Iran has been lifting
up
with Saudi Arabia and Russia cutting back. So I think it's just good, something good on the table. But let's get on to talk about trying to find out how you would interpret President Obasanjo's reported comment on President Buhari's 8 years in office.
Governor.
Yes.
What do you?
Let's start with President Obasanjo's.
What do you want us? What do you want me to talk about? Really?
I just want
I want to say here because you see, if you read through the CBN governor's speech, he said, I think about 2 or 3 times he repeated. He said, and any economics who has his grain salt, any economists who will have understood, and because on this program more than 3 years ago, we came in here and said Nigeria is a broke country, and we said we cannot sustain the fuel subsidy program. We said that you allow me to vent. And the issue is because of the fact that we came and said, somebody kept singing the song, on repeat, that our Nigerian problem is not debt. Our problem is revenues. Then we said, see, we are sound economists. We understand the issues involved. And then when we talk, a lot of people come out and say, you're welling wellers, you're this. See, all of them are ensconced somewhere now, having, choice jobs, and Nigerians are suffering for that. So please allow me to vent. So it's a sanctimonious facade that we had in the past that, somebody is incorruptible, but you allow people that work with you to be corrupt. You saw what the former CBN governor has said. So do we know what the problems are? We know what the problems are in the Nigerian economy. If you do not know, you ask for directions. Now, they said they were not taking advice, and so that's one problem. But we had the Economic Council with the best brains in Nigeria who were there, consulted, and that was supposed to be advising, and so nobody was listening. So I hate doing postmortems because, postmortem is on the dead, usually. But you see, we learn the lesson so that they live in, who can live better and move ahead. And so that we don't enter into that cycle again. I'm
trying to ask a question about what President was attributed to former President Olusegun Obasanjo, the fact that President Buhari does not understand economics. So I'm trying to ask if it is necessary for a president to really understand economics in order to deliver socio-economic growth and development.
I train.
Should that be a qualification?
Just hold on. I train CEOs. Chief Executive Officers of corporations. And I keep saying that one of the first things you need to understand a CEO is finance. That you can't be an effective CEO of Dangote Group or MTN or the big corporates if you don't understand finance. You don't understand economics. You don't understand the macros. It's difficult, to run.
When you say understand, what does it mean of that understanding? Schooling, it's not street education.
It's not, when we are in secondary school, we do the basic
basic economics.
Yeah, the law and demand and supply, the issue of inflation.
Business studies
and stuff like that. The impact on the economy, debts, interest rates, and all those stuff. We did all those stuff. I don't think it would be right for our president to be talking, people to be talking in a room, and our president will only be behaving like a barber's chair, which is basically moving left and right, watching people, you should be able to understand what people are advising him, and he should be able to, make contributions or question their advice.
Understand the basics? Or
the basics, not the deep macroeconomics, not the PhD macroeconomics, the basics. There's a common sense macroeconomics, or even the deep interest in understanding, in trying to learn, on understanding the implications of actions you're taking. Employment, the impact of employment. I feel those are very important.
But you need to understand economics to understand or to know that debt is not good. In a manner of speaking, quote and unquote, or you know what I mean by that.
But
when you start piling up debt, but you see your revenue like a basket.
But I'm not also in the school of thought that says debt is not good.
I understand. That's why I put that caveat around it.
Debt is good.
Yes.
If you use it to create wealth.
And depending on how you source it.
And so, because you see, the kinetic economics, sorry, I'm using that big word now. Basically, what does it say? You borrow, spend, the input and output. Basically, you borrow 1 billion, it multiplies and becomes 10 billion. Iran trips, pays off the 1 billion, and the economy becomes better. So debt is allowed.
Yes, it's allowed.
As far as it's used judiciously. And not the fact that it's not used judiciously. Now, we know that there are a lot of things that have been said and done with this debt. But what are the impacts in the economy? That's the issue. The debt create, the more we borrowed. If the debts led to employment coming down, inflation coming down,
and jobs
being created, GDP going up, they're cool. We're cool with that. And that's what debt is supposed to do for your economy. So that at the end of the day, the impact, the economic expansion will create the wealth required to pay off those debts. That's the economics. But this now, if the debt comes in and you consume it, a lot of it enter into private jet, as you hear the CBN governor say, that some people who haven't worked at all in their life have private jets, enter into people's hands, private, this and that's the problem. But if he comes in and creates wealth, multiplies the economy, make sure the roads are working, make sure power is there, make sure that the refineries work. So we need a Nigerian presidents who understand the basic economics. Should that be taken as given? You see, I don't want to even
because you've got to go through an electoral process and what have you to understand.
But it's the issue again. You're dragging me around because you see the electoral process is party driven. So a party that has the interest of Nigeria at stake must make sure that those who are presented to win for the election must be the candidates that will represent Nigeria and articulate and are smart.
And not simply the party.
And not simply the party. They must understand the economy. They must understand the economy. They must understand analytics.
They must understand the implications, so the consequences.
Yeah, the relationship between all these things. So that when people are presenting things to you, we know that there are a lot of self-interest at that highest level.
Yes.
You always can read through who is pushing self-interest or the things for the nation, the nation, the greater Nigeria, the Commonwealth. So that's the issue. And be able to ask the right questions and punch a hole on presentations by individuals and that. But you see, if your Minister for Finance keeps telling you that, there's no problem with debt, the only problem we have is revenue, there's no problem with debt. And then when people like us come out and say, see, there's an issue here, and then people are additional, I'm sure he's gone somewhere enjoying his job. People like Lyle Mohammed, I'm sure he's now, I think he has an international job somewhere, earning dollars. Come out and call us wailing whalers and go to pliable TV sessions to go and counter what we'll say. There's a problem. That's the issue. Now, number one, they say he was not corrupt. But when you allow people around you to be corrupt, that's a problem.
Now we're now back to the blame game. So,
how do we move forward?
No. We got to blame someone, but again, we got to move forward. Should we move forward without blaming anyone?
No, I mean,
or we should just move forward.
I mean, everybody has spoken. See, listen. He heard Waledu say it, that it hasn't been this bad before.
Yes.
Who was there? The same people for 8 years. He heard Ashimole say it, that it has not been this bad before.
Yes, the vice president also said so.
Shetima say it.
Yes.
I mean, what do you want us to say again now? Remember, these are the people who won the election and are in the power now. The same people who it's enough. We have blamed. But you see, the issue is for us to learn that when we have some charlatans come around again to come and call us naysayers and all those stuff, we should rubbish them because we know what they're talking about. And our country is in distress. 3 years ago on this program, we said, see, we are printing money. Because as an accountant, I know expenditure funded by, I know the price of oil. That's a big gap. How are you getting the gap? You don't have bonds issued. You don't have the whatever. It must be that something is happening.
Source an application
of funds.
Where do you source it from? How do you apply?
We know there's a big gap.
Yes.
And so when we say, they say, oh yeah, this, that, so.
It's good. We're going to have to look at that, whether we need an economist next time. But whatever it is, it's all interesting. It's good
we need somebody who's smart.
What's good on our side? Is the strike action on? Okay, well, I don't want to get you upset.